Good to see you again. Hope you're having a good evening and getting ready to watch the Dodgers and Rays tonight. Just here to talk about the Buffalo Sabres overview and my expectations of what I think is going to happen with them next season and some of the top prospects again. So let's get into it. So in 2019, the Buffalo Sabres were 30, 31, and 8 with a goal differential of minus 22. So again, giving up 22 more goals than they had for, which puts them near the bottom of the league. And usually statistics would say if you have a negative goal differential, your chances of making the playoffs without elite goaltending are usually pretty low. So that's exactly what happened with them. They didn't have great goaltending, and that was a big part of why they didn't make the playoffs. And now on to some of the statistical category leaders. A lot of them are just Jack Eichel. Right there, goals leader Jack Eichel with 36, assists Eichel 42, and total points Eichel with 78. So he was really carrying the offensive load for this team, and I really am excited to see Taylor Hall play with Eichel next year, because what I saw when he was in New Jersey was a team that didn't really have much of a direction. I'd say the Sabres have more of a direction right now than the New Jersey Devils did at that point, and just injecting Taylor Hall into their lineup, he was a MVP, and he got the Devils back to the playoffs, and I could definitely see something similar happening in Buffalo, but the thing is, a lot of things have to go right. So we'll start with the goaltending. Linus Ullmark led the team with 17 wins. That has to improve if he is going to be the guy. He's going to have to really have a good offseason and get prepared and realize that he has to steal some wins, because with a young D-core like they have, it's bound to give up a lot of high-quality scoring chances. So he's going to have to know that they're not always going to execute the plays the way that he thinks they're going to happen, and he's going to have to bail them out. And after goaltending, the plus-minus leader on the team was Brandon Montour. He was a plus 13 for them. He saw a lot of power play time and played on the first unit a lot, so not that big of a surprise when Eichel is in front of you producing. You're definitely going to be more of a plus than a minus. And so I mentioned this morning that Sam Reinhart was extended. He definitely needs to have a big year, like I said. He needs to hopefully hop onto that first line and really produce, and even possibly, if he's on the second line, he needs to carry that line and really be the centerpiece of that line. And onto Rasmus Daleen. He was a first-round pick a couple years ago, and I've never been disappointed with him. I think a lot of people look, again, at first-round picks, first overall, and again, they think they have to be something just mind-blowing, and defensemen always take a while. That's nothing new in this league. You saw it with Aaron Ekblad in 2014. He was first overall. He came into the league, and they always cover the first overall pick, so when they score, when they get a nice play, they praise them, but for some reason, when they're on a losing team, like they both are, but it seems like Buffalo's always under the microscope for that. So Daleen seems to be getting the brunt of all that blame. And no, I still see everything that he was touted to be, and I still think he's going to be an awesome defenseman. As a Leafs fan, I wish that we had a Rasmus Daleen on the back end. And I know people say like Morgan Riley and stuff like that. No, like Daleen isn't going to be like that. I wouldn't be, and the comparisons to Erik Karlsson are still there to Daleen, because Karlsson wasn't the prototypical Erik Karlsson until a few years into his career. And even past this point where Daleen is, that Erik Karlsson wasn't there yet. So I'd look forward to see what he's going to do this season, and I wouldn't say this has to be his breakout year, but showing progress and showing that he can be that number one guy on the power play and trusted defensively, then you guys have a gem in him. And again, goaltending, so we went over it, but we'll go over it just briefly again. The Sabres' backup situation is a little foggy. So I think the Sabres do need to address that, because if the starters start starts to falter and let in a lot of goals and gets pulled a bunch, you need that guy that you think maybe you could ride for 2 or 3 games and give the starter a break, or especially if in Buffalo there isn't an established starter and it's more of a battle. So you need to have both guys competitive and capable of stopping pucks. Now, we'll talk about the top prospects, and this is not including this year's draft. This is just from this year. So the number one prospect on the board is, to all Buffalo fans, obviously Dylan Cozens. He's right-wing center playing in Lethbridge right now of the Western Hockey League, and he's absolutely tearing it up. He's expected already to be a shoo-in to make the team, and he's a big guy. He's been projected to be a really big piece to the Sabres organization, and just a nice, even when he's young, it'd be a nice depth piece for the back lines, like the bottom six. But as soon as he starts pushing for those top spots, it will create more competition, and especially if he comes out and performs right away. If he starts creating that competition that young guys thrive after, and you need the guys that have been there for a while to really think, hey, these guys are competing for my minutes. So hopefully him coming in will give a nice spark, and as will the other prospects on this list. So the next one up is Matthias Samuelson. He is playing at Michigan University, and he is 6'4", 220 pounds. Been compared to Nicholas Hjalmarsson, more of a... They say he's not like one of those guys like a Drew Doughty or Erik Karlsson or anything, but more of a guy who can... They're expecting him to step into the lineup next year too, but a guy who's very, very responsible, and a guy who intimidates with how he looks with his size and how he carries himself and how he thinks about the game. They're saying that he should be a really good piece to the Sabres as soon as this season coming up. So him and Dylan Cozens should be on the Sabres this year. That's what's expected. And the third one is Erik Partillo. He's from Sweden, and he's also playing at Michigan. So he's a 6'6" goaltender. That's what I read. So he's basically Ben Bishop, one of the tallest, I believe the tallest goalie in the league. So if he makes it, you have this monster that is just towering over everyone else. And there's, from what I've read, he's pretty good. And they say he could make the team not 2021 but 2022. So he's only 19 years old. And I think that gets Buffalo fans excited because you guys need, you have Eichel, you have Daleen, you have Reinhart, and now you have Jeff Skinner, who also needs to have a big year. You guys need that goaltender, and you need to get them authentically through your own drafting, because you can get lucky in free agency or trades, but you have to give up people to get them. So you need to develop this guy and give him the time he needs, and maybe he could turn into a Carter Hart, a guy that's going to be your goaltender for the next 15 years. And once you figure that out, there's no saying where you get, the Buffalo Sabres can go. So my prediction for this team is that a lot of things have to go right, obviously. The back end is a little bit thin, but if Cozens and Samuelson make the team, which Cozens should, more Samuelson, I don't see him being like an impact player, but they need to have everything go right for them. And if everything goes right, if they get great goaltending from Linus Ullmark, if Jack Eichel can continue to carry this team, and if Daleen can come and have a great season, and the team can come together and Jeff Skinner has a bounce back year, my prediction is that you guys are going to be a bubble team. And what I mean by that, I'm sure you guys have heard that term, bubble, meaning by the end of it, when everything's said and done, you're either in or you're out. So you're probably going to be an 8th seed, which doesn't mean anything wrong, but you guys, I think at this point, need to get break through that playoff wall. You guys need to get in, and you guys need to give these young guys some confidence and experience, because they can't keep having this turnover of management and turnover of coaches. They need to have stability, and they need confidence. So if they can get everything working and have career highs and make it to the playoffs, that will be huge. This is a very, very important year for your guys, young players, and players like Jack Eichel and players that have been there for a little bit. This is a massive year for the Buffalo Sabres. So if everything goes right, everything's going to go good for you guys, and I'm happy to see it. Even as a Leafs fan, I want to see the best Buffalo Sabres and Leafs battles that I could possibly see. I don't like seeing one team worse than the other by a landslide. So, and it's been like that. The Buffalo Sabres have been way better than the Leafs, and the Leafs have been better than the Sabres. So I want to see the best version of the Buffalo Sabres that they could possibly be this year. And I hope by the end of the year they are. So that's it for the Sabres. I really like talking about other people's teams. It's really fun, again, looking into everything. And don't take anything I say to heart. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can, and it's very hard. But really enjoyed looking into the Buffalo Sabres. Best of luck to them next season, and really excited for whatever team I get to do next. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.